The first moon landing. Apollo 11, the spaceship from NASA in the US, landed on the moon on July 20th, 1969, the first time that people had landed on the moon ever. When Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong stepped out of the spaceship for the first time, the world was stunned. However, some were skeptical about the idea of people landing on the moon, and they tried to convince people that it was actually a hoax and that it didn't actually happen. But it was actually real, and here is why. Back then, in 1969, they simply didn't have the technology to fake a moon landing. Video was primitive in that time. The claim was that we saw was a slow-motion film footage of the astronauts running around in a studio. But there's only two ways to shoot slow motion. Shoot at normal speed and slow down, or overcranking, which is sampling natural motion at a higher frame rate. To do either, you would have needed high-speed video cameras, and they didn't have them back then, and they just didn't have the technology. The only other way you could have had it in slow motion was if the video would have only been 30 seconds long. But they had about half an hour of footage, proving that it actually happened, and that they couldn't have used slow motion. The shadows weren't fake, because the only light source was the sun. And the shadows is one of the ways people were trying to prove it, but it has been proven that it actually is right. The flag was waving in the breeze because it was wiggling when they put it in the vacuum, not because there was wind in the studio, supposedly, that they were filming in. Moon rocks and pictures were also taken, and you can see the pictures of Earth and of the moon. And they also brought back the moon rock samplings that they have proven are actually from the moon. You can also see the footprints that are on the moon left by the astronauts who visited it. And another reason that it has been proven is when Russia went to the moon, they saw the American flag there, and how could it have gotten there if the US hadn't actually been on the moon? Plus, the broadcast would have fooled more people because the technology wasn't as good in that time if it had actually been a hoax, which proves that it was real because other people would have been fooled than just the few who think it's controversial. The government has lied to us before. However, this was not a lie because of the reasons I just stated. So, when Neil Armstrong stepped out of Apollo 11 and said, "This is one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind," you can be assured that it is real and it actually happened.
Thank you for watching. You now know that the moon landing was not a hoax, nor it could have ever been a hoax. Here are the contributors to this video.